In today's video, we're going to review the iconic John Lobb Chapel double monk strap shoe, which is part of Lobb's prestige collection.
I'm Kirby Allison, and I love helping the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes. Join me as we explore the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition.
Easily one of the most renowned and respected shoemakers in the world, the John Lobb name is well known to those who appreciate quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Just as well known for their famous bespoke shoes as they are for their ready-to-wear, John Lobb is actually composed of two separate companies. The ancestral John Lobb, based on St. James Street in London, exclusively makes only bespoke shoes completely by hand and in much the same way today as they have for their 150-plus year history. And John Lobb Paris, which is owned by the Hermès Group and is famous for their exceptional Goodyear welted, ready-to-wear dress shoes, which are made to the highest standards in Northampton, England. Additionally, they also make bespoke shoes from their workshop in Paris. We also have a full-length documentary piece on John Lobb London. You can find links to all of these videos in the description below. One of the things that I appreciate most about John Lobb is their ability to make the difficult look easy. The John Lobb Chapel is such a shoe, an absolute beautiful, elegant double monk strap, but there is so much more to this shoe than initially meets the eye. At first glance, the John Lobb Chapel is a beautiful, elegant, well-balanced shoe, especially for a double monk strap which can easily look clunky and heavy. Now the museum finish has a beautifully marbled look with a variation in the dark and light dye patterns, which creates a stunning dimension that just adds a touch of character to the leather. They're meant to look new from the factory as a pair of shoes that have really aged gracefully and developed a beautiful patina. The chapel features a unique, elegant, swept-back facing that elongates the vamp, but hiding in the details are some design features that showcase the influence of John Lobb's bespoke workmanship in their ready-to-wear collections. Yes, this is a double monk strap, but not just any double monk strap. No, it is actually a spiral cut pattern cut from a single piece of leather. This detail is really quite subtle and something I might not have noticed were it not pointed out to me. You can see it here. The pattern starts here around the facings or across the monk straps. So it begins here, it goes across the front, on the inside of the shoe, back around the heel, and again, because it's cut from a single piece of leather, they're able to achieve a seamless heel, which is a beautiful design detail. This continues around the back to the outside side of the shoe, across the vamp in the forward part of the shoe, and then back around under the arch, ending right here at the heel. All of these seams are simply just sewing this together. And it's really, honestly, just one seam that holds this entire shoe together. It's one of those elements of John Lobb that they're able to work in their ready-to-wear collections that I really appreciate. And this spiral cut in a lot of ways reminds me of their 2020 St. Crispin's strand, which is their spiral cut wingtip. And it's an absolutely beautiful design. One of the other things I want to point out, of course, is just the attention to detail and quality. The buckles here are palladium coated, so it's got a beautiful kind of a chrome finish to it. You're not going to have to worry about that tarnishing. Again, with John Lobb, they have this scale and really the expertise and the resources to really develop beautiful hardware, which again is something that plagues smaller shoe companies. But I wanted to just unbuckle this real quick and show you that by opening this up, you can see, again, additional details of how this shoe is made. And I think by unbuckling the double monk, it really kind of reveals the magic of this spiral cut design. All of this is just a single piece of leather. I mean, literally, the only seam connecting this upper together is this long seam on the interior of the shoe that runs kind of over the arch to the heel. That's it. The rest of this shoe is just a single piece of leather. Absolutely beautiful. You can see on the inside, each shoe is individually marked with the model number, the size. It's an 8.5E. It's on the 8000 last. And I'm not totally sure what the 114017 is. But anyway, beautifully made. You look on the inside, you can see, of course, that it's beautifully finished here also. You've got a nice leather lining, and you can see the leather insole right there. Of course, that kind of serves as the foundation of that shoe. And the beauty of a Goodyear welted leather dress shoe is that because it's Goodyear welted, which is the de rigueur of really a high quality shoe, is that it's only going to get more comfortable with time as your foot really sets into the shoe and the shoe is allowed to begin molding around the foot. You can also see that this shoe features a beautiful last definition, which creates exceptional arch support and allows the sculpture of the shoe to really come out. You can see this with something I like to call the pencil test. We've all seen less expensive shoes that have zero last definition and are essentially square blocks with no arch support. This last definition is what allows the sculpture of the shoe to really be appreciated, and you can especially see it right here at the arch. And so the pencil test, I like to take out a pencil and then just drop it down right here on the arch, and you can see how much shape is cut into the shoe. And so you've got that shape of the last cupping underneath the arch to really hold the foot, to offer it support. But in addition to that, it creates shape, it creates three-dimensionality, and it's that shape that really, to me, is a hallmark of a beautiful shoe. Further enhancing the arch support is generous hard countering, which is where hard pieces of leather are sandwiched between the upper and the lining to create additional structure and stiffness. This is important not only for support around the heel and the arch, but it's also necessary to prevent creasing. The hard countered areas of the shoe are also those areas that you'd want to mirror shine. And you can see that on this chapel, we developed a beautiful mirror shine here on the toe and on the heel also. There's not many seams on this shoe, really just the edge seams around the top, around the monk strap. But I do like how on this interior seam right here, that is actually a double row of stitching. It just gives a little bit more substance, a little bit more weight to this particular seam, which is important since it's the only seam literally holding this entire shoe together. The chapel is, of course, Goodyear welted, which is the de rigueur of high-quality footwear, and allows the shoe to easily be resoled without disturbing the fit or the finish of the shoe. John Lobb's attention to detail is found not just on the uppers, but on the bottoms of the shoes. One of my favorite things to do is to turn a pair of shoes over and to inspect the outsoles. Here you really see the shoemaker's commitment to quality and finishing. The prestige leather outsoles are oak bark tanned in England, where they are naturally tanned in pits for up to 6 months. The process uses a century-old recipe using only natural tree barks to tan the leather. The process results in an incredibly dense, abrasion, and water-resistant outsole that can easily outlast less expensive alternatives by several years. This in turn reduces the number of times that you're going to need to resole these shoes. There is just something about a beautifully finished outsole that I really love. First, you can see that there is no visible outsole stitching. This is because a technique called invisible channel stitching is used, where the leather is cut into and peeled back before the outsole is sewn onto the welt. Once the outsole is sewn on, that leather is then pressed and glued flat before the outsole is inked and dyed. What that results in is a beautiful, natural, kind of even finish to the outsole. It doesn't have any open channel stitching like what you find on less expensive shoes. That in turn helps create a more water-resistant outsole. And then finally, Lobb finishes this outsole to their standard kind of prestige look, which has a natural kind of forward part with the waist being dyed black. Really just creates a beautiful finish that I appreciate. There's other small details here, like the embossing of the John Lobb name, made in England. You've got, of course, the heel block being dyed black also with some small brass nails which help hold all this together. You have a rubber top lift right here that again is very elegant and just very well done. And then I just love also how this heel block just beautifully sits underneath the heel itself. It doesn't stick out too far. It's not too large. It's not clunky. The aesthetic, the balance really works with this shoe. Of course, with a pair of shoes as beautiful as these, it's essential that they're stored using shoe trees, and the chapel comes with a fully lasted pair of shoe trees that are also made in Northampton. The John Lobb Chapel is part of Lobb's Prestige collection and is offered in 2 finishes, a black museum calf and a dark brown museum calf. Both of these finishes are foundational, Black, of course, being the most formal and easily worn with grays and navies, like this double-breasted suit I have on today. And dark brown, appropriate for navy and less formal outfits like tan and brown. I think the combination of the chiseled 8000 last and the sleek, swept-back facings place this monk strap on the more formal end of the spectrum for double monks. It is without question a shoe that I would gladly add to my wardrobe in both black and dark brown finishes. I'm Kirby Allison, and I love to help the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes while exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please do take a moment to follow @Kirby Allison, because it's one of the best ways to keep up to date as to what's going on here. Also, if you haven't visited KirbyAllison.com, please do so. We've got the largest collection of luxury garment care and luxury shoe care accessories in the world, as well as other great clothing accessories like this beautiful yellow hopsack sovereign grade tie that I'm wearing right now, in addition to beautiful pocket squares and dress socks. Thanks for joining me.